I struggle to comprehend the violence of this murder. This murder was planned, it was premeditated, it was calculated, and it was deliberate.
A small town in upstate New York, a cookie factory, boomers versus millennials, a love triangle, a gruesome murder. And the victim's 6-year-old daughter is the one that cracks the case. This is the tragic story of Desiree Whitty. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly, truly is. Before I get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really, really appreciate it. Perry, New York is a very small town in upstate New York in Wyoming County. There's only a population of about 6,000 people. It's about 90 minutes away from the New York side of Niagara Falls. Very small, very quaint, very friendly town. A town that consistently smells like cookies due to the humongous cookie factory that's located in town. The cookie factory had great hours, good pay, good benefits, and it was incredibly easy to get hired there. Most people, typically women, would join the factory fresh out of high school and stay there for years and years. But with young women fresh out of high school or in their 20s comes a lot of drama. Across the street from the cookie factory is the flatbed factory. Same concept, less drama as the cookie factory. So these are the key players that you need to know in this story. Kira Castenhuber, Donna, Heather Hedges, Jordan Parkhurst, and Desiree Whitty. The crew of 5 would find out that they were being moved to the cookie factory. At the cookie factory were a different group of 5, the 5 boomers that have been there for decades. They know the factory, they run the factory, the higher-ups respect them. They have been there for decades, and most importantly, they don't like change. They don't play a major role in this story, but they play enough of a role that they need to be mentioned. Of the 5 boomers, the important ones to know are the ringleaders, Pam and Gina. So now the boomers and the millennials worlds collide and they are all working together at the cookie factory. It's also important to point out that Pam was threatened by the new young crew because she felt as if they were there to take over her job. And to be fair, at one point, Pam did get kicked out of her position weighing cookies and was put in a new position of filling cookies, which she apparently did not take very well. This was very short-lived though, as Pam had enough pull in the factory that the higher-ups preferred to keep her happy. But behind the scenes, Pam was a shit starter. She would go to like Jordan, for example, and she would say to her, "Did you hear the stuff that Desi's saying about you?" Stuff like that. Basically trying to break up their crew of 5 because she was pissed. Very childish, very elementary school, but that was her way of punishing the new girls for coming into her cookie factory. The 5 millennials, Desi, Jordan, Kira, Heather, and Donna, were friends in and out of work. Just a tight-knit group of friends until they weren't anymore. Desiree Whitty was a 33-year-old single mother of 2 at the time. She was described as always walking with her head held high, was a great time at the bar, was able to fix just about anything, and had dreams of attending culinary school. But she was also somebody that wasn't afraid to stand up for herself if she had to. Okay, so remember when I said Pam was pissed because she lost her job weighing cookies to Donna? Well, Pam gets her position back. Management then puts Donna in Kira's position, and Kira's pissed because she doesn't feel like Donna is qualified enough to do her job. It's all very juvenile. I wish I didn't have to waste my time talking about this, but it actually all plays a role into why this close-knit group started to unravel. So, now Kira is pissed, and once she sees the rest of the girls talking to Donna, she feels betrayed by everyone, and she begins to distance herself from the group. After this, Kira begins getting close with Pam, Gina, and the rest of the boomers. It would become Pam and Kira's mission to get these girls fired. They were constantly getting pulled into the office and getting write-ups over the stupidest things in the world. That's why they say it's not what you know, it's who you know. Pam had a lot of pull with management, and they respected her, and that goes a really long way. July 2011, Heather gets called into the office. Management tells her that they're letting her go because, ready? They're letting her go for what they called facial harassment. When Heather questions what the hell is facial harassment, she's told that she rolls her eyes. Okay, let's be very clear about something. If that was actually a reason to fire somebody, nobody would be employed, including myself. I'm a major eye roller. I can't hide my feelings. They are constantly written all over my face. But that's what they let her go for. Shortly after Heather left the factories that same day, Jordan's called into the office. They were letting her go because of complaints of them whispering. Being told that whispering is considered bullying and that's not tolerated. Again, nobody, including myself, would have a job if whispering was a legitimate reason to fire somebody. It's just ridiculous. At this point, the only two left in the factory are Desi and Donna. Kira is still there as well, but she's no longer friends with them over Donna taking her position in the factory. Fast forward a little, and the factory hires a new, very good-looking man by the name of Josh. Donna snags him first, and the two date casually for a few months before he decides to just end things with her. It wouldn't be long after the breakup that rumors began to swirl about Desi and Josh hooking up. Except they weren't actually rumors because they were true. The two had begun sleeping together. In terms of girl code, this was definitely a fucked up thing to do, especially to a friend. It's absolutely friendship ruining, but it's not life ending. Donna was pissed, rightfully so. She chose to distance herself from Desi and began getting close to Kira, Pam, and the rest of the boomers, never hiding her disdain for Desi over what she rightfully considered a betrayal, and as far as I'm concerned, it was. No guy is worth it, and this clearly wasn't either because the relationship didn't last. February 6th, 2012, a 911 call is made by a neighbor of Desiree Whitty. The caller says that she's the neighbor, that her neighbor's lips are blue, and that she believes she's dead.
Miami County 911, what's your emergency?
Hi. I think my neighbor, I think she's dead.
Okay, why do you think she's dead?
She's laying on her bedroom floor, and her lips were blue.
Desiree is inside her home on the floor of her bedroom, deceased from strangulation, and cuts to her body and private area. On top of this, Desiree's two children, 6-year-old Sophie and 2-year-old Zoe, were in the house at the time. Desiree was described by her family as a loving mom who worked hard as a single mom to support her children. She saw the fun in everything and laughed a lot. She was the second youngest of 4 children born to parents, Dwayne and Alice, who had Desi when they were in their 40s. Now they're in their 70s and they have to bury their baby girl. Obviously she wasn't a baby at the time, but to them she'll always be their baby. This crime was so brutal that investigators knew instantly that this was not a random attack. This was personal. The only question that remained was who hated the fun-loving, happy-go-lucky Desi enough to do this to her in the early morning hours of February 6th, while her two precious babies were inside the home with her, aged 2 and 6. Like, let that sink in. Do you know how deranged you have to be to do this to a mother, then to leave her two babies there alone to fend for themselves? It's sickening. It's sick. During the investigation, 6-year-old Sophie was brought down to a child advocacy center to have a conversation with her. During the interview, investigators gave her paper and crayons, and little Sophie draws a picture of this jacket. She says she saw a woman wearing it who was inside of Mommy's bedroom that night that everything transpired. She also tells them that this person had their back to the door, so she couldn't see their face, but she did hear crying coming from the room. This becomes an incredibly important part of the story as everything goes on. And for context, she does say the patches are the color pink, so maybe she didn't have the right color crayon at the time. But now the investigators know that it's probably a woman who's responsible for this. It's probably somebody that she knows, and if they can find the jacket, they can probably find the person responsible. Investigators do the next logical thing, and they go down to the cookie factory to conduct interviews. They speak with Donna, who makes it very clear to investigators that she hates Desi for what she did to her and how she betrayed their friendship. She never hides the fact that she hated her at the time, but she also makes it very clear that she never hated her enough to kill her. They even bring Josh in for a conversation.
Thank you for coming down. I appreciate it.
Oh no, I was hoping everything I heard wasn't true. So.
Right now, talking to you, what are your thoughts? Like, what do you think could happen?
I don't know what happened. All I know is she ain't here.
Brian?
Investigators seem to believe what Donna is saying enough that they pretty much drop her from the suspect list, which is a good thing because she's not the one responsible. The person responsible is none other than her one-time best friend, Kira Kassenhuber. While investigators are talking to Josh, he drops a bomb on them. He tells investigators that during the company's Christmas party, Desiree and Kira's fiance went missing together for approximately 4 hours, telling them that that's who they need to have a chat with, and to say he was on the money would be an understatement.
We have our company Christmas party, and I hear that Desiree and Kira's fiance were missing for like 4 hours.
Kira and a man by the name of Larkin Daniels had dated for around 8 years and even got engaged. At the time of the Christmas party, Kira and Larkin were not together, and the most that anyone has confirmed in regards to the Christmas party was that Desi and Larkin stayed up all night talking. On December 21st, 2015, Kira goes up to Desi while at work and starts screaming and cursing at her for staying up all night with her fiance, who wasn't really her fiance at the time, but also not completely out of her life either. So, investigators decide to bring in Kira's fiance/ex-fiance, Larkin Daniels.
What did you hear happen at work between the two of them?
I just heard that Kira made a loud confrontation to her.
Did she physically attack her?
No. I know shortly after, they ended up going Christmas shopping together. I don't see Kira ever doing anything like that, hurting someone or anything like that.
It is very much believed that Larkin truly had no idea that Kira was the one responsible for this crime. Next, they bring Kira in for an interview.
We want to know what happened.
She was one of my best friends, and I loved her. You know, we were very, very close. It's just very hard to hear that she's gone. I don't know what happened to her.
Who do you think could have done it?
I don't know. As far as I know, she didn't have any enemies.
So that argument that you had with Desi, what was it really?
I just said, I would love to kick the shit out of her, but I would never hurt her. No, not at all. I mean, that feels like your heart is being ripped out of your chest. And now it hurts even worse because she's gone.
Kira was described by officers as being very cooperative, even given a DNA sample, access to her home and car, and showing what seemed to be real emotion over the death of her friend. Fast forward to the following morning, Sunday, February 7th, 2016, Perry 911 get a call from a woman who turns out to be a friend of Kira's mom. The caller tells the operator that she knows who killed Desiree, that it was Kira, and that they need to go over to the house immediately. She also tells the operator that Kira had taken a bunch of pills in an attempt to unalive herself.
To be advised that she took a boatload of pills, so she's not quite with it right now.
When officers arrive at the home, Kira is very disoriented, laying on an air mattress on the floor, and says to the officers, "A lot of things happened that shouldn't have happened, and it's all my fault." Kira gets taken by ambulance to the hospital while officers search the home. In the basement of the home, in the laundry room, they find a pink and white jacket that had just been washed and very much resembles the picture that 6-year-old Sophie had drawn for them. They also find a torn up note in the trash. When they put the ripped pieces together, they discover a to-do list written by Kira. A list that includes things such as wear masks so no scratches, try to get her in the shower, have her write an unaliving note, give her sleeping pills. If that doesn't work, cut her wrist, bring both blades, and closes out her list with be happy.
This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. It wasn't some emotional response. This was a planned and calculated murder. She actually wrote on the note that she wanted to go to Desi's house after her appointment. She would find a way in either the basement or the front window. She would find something to knock her out with. She would have her write a suicide note. And the defendant also wrote a series of suicide notes that purported to be from the victim. She said she would give her sleeping pills. If that doesn't work, then it's her wrist. She indicated bring both blades, gloves. Make sure you wear a long sleeve shirt. Put your hair up and tight. Leave through the side door and make sure it's locked. Close whatever entrance I came through. And lastly, get rid of all the evidence. Be happy. Those girls or Larkin don't need her.
They also found unaliving notes that were supposedly written by Desi, talking about how she was a homewrecker, and because of the guilt that she was feeling, she could not go on living anymore. These notes were found in Kira's trash. But if that's not enough to prove Kira's guilt, during Desi's autopsy, the medical examiner found Kira's DNA under one of Desi's fingernails. Side note, Kira cut Desi's fingernails during the attack to get rid of all DNA, but I guess she missed the spot. After her release from the hospital, Kira was immediately arrested for the death of Desiree, and Kira pled guilty to murdering Desiree Whitty. During sentencing, Kira says to Desi's family, "I stand here before you today knowing that I am the most hated person in your lives. I want you, her family, to know how deeply sorry I am. I can't explain the feeling of hurt I felt that night. It was something I could not control. It was something that happened. I would take her place in a heartbeat. I know this is not an excuse. I could not stand losing everything I had, a curse upon me, and I deserve all of it. I know this will haunt me for the rest of my life, and I can only hope and pray that one day God and your family will forgive me for taking Desiree, a beautiful person. I am not a monster. I wish I could take it all back. I am so sorry. You should be. You deserve every bad thing that happens to you because these 2 baby girls have to grow up without a mom now because of you.
You know, she was one of my, like, a really good sister. It's just, it doesn't seem real. It's a nightmare and I just want to wake up from it and it not be real. And she still be here.
Before sentencing her to 15 years to life, Judge Mohan told Kira, "This is cold, calculated, methodical, and planned, and you carried it out. You intended to get rid of Desiree Whitty, and you did so. You mutilated her body, all the while Desiree Whitty's children were sleeping in their bed within a few feet of this undescribable, horrific. The lives of the Whitty family are forever dismantled and disrupted. They will go on, but the memory of what you did will hang as a pall over all those celebrations. The effect of this will resonate for a lifetime, for generations. You are a destroyer of worlds." In closing, he told her that she will serve 15 years to life as promised, but that when she comes up for parole, that is his hope and desire that she is not paroled from prison due to her cold, calculated of Desiree Whitty. If you guys are still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet and you feel so inclined to, because it really helps me out. And I really appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe out there.